in a case involving a former Indian River County teacher who was arrested accused of pulling the trigger in a Vero Beach shooting.
The criminal charge that the suspect Darius Cohen faced has just been modified. Now, if convicted, he's looking at up to life in prison. CBS 12 News Treasure Coast reporter Denise Sawyer spoke to the prosecuting team about what this change means for the criminal case.
I spoke to prosecutors who are building a case against Darius Cohen, the former PE teacher at Indian River Academy, who allegedly got into a scuffle when he walked into the wrong apartment after a night of drinking. 4 gunshots, 2 suspects, and 1 victim with a gunshot wound in his back. Authorities say this video shows the alleged gunman, Darius Cohen, running after what appears to be the victim. Would you say that that video was telling?
Yeah, it's telling because it is what it is. It is what happened. So the video rarely lies.
Now, nearly a month later, after these 2 former teachers, Cohen and his friend Akua Hallback, were fired and arrested in connection to the October 10th Vero Beach shooting, Cohen faces a newly modified felony charge. State's Attorney Thomas Bacadol.
Law enforcement chose to proceed with a theory of attempted felony murder, but upon reflection and review of the statutes and the case law, we deemed that the more appropriate charge was an attempted first-degree murder.
According to this court document obtained by CBS 12 News, that charge was changed this week on November 2nd. The lead prosecutor tells CBS 12 News an attempted first-degree murder charge better reflects the findings that came out of the criminal investigation.
We clarified the nature of the charges based on the facts that the Indian River County Sheriff's Office brought to us. They did their thorough investigation. I reviewed the findings of their investigation. And then we, at the state attorney's office, made a specific charging decision.
Now, we did reach out to the defense attorney to discuss this modified felony charge, but have not heard back. For now, Cohen sits behind bars with the looming criminal case just taking shape.
Because he was charged with an attempted first-degree murder with a firearm, his exposure under the 1020 life case would be 25 years to potential life in prison.
The suspect, Darius Cohen, is due in court on November 29th. CBS 12 News will be there and have the latest.
Guilty on all counts, a jury deciding today that the sleepover murder trial in Corey Johnson.
Johnson stabbed Giovanni Sierra, who was celebrating his 13th birthday, killing him and stabbing 2 others back in 2018 in Palm Beach Gardens. CBS 12's Andrew Lofholm is outside the courthouse.
The jury only needed about a half day to come to their guilty verdict today. Now, they weren't deciding if Johnson actually killed anybody, but when he did, was he sane? And today their answer is yes.
As to count 1, we find the defendant guilty of first-degree murder.
A stoic Corey Johnson, as the verdict was read, as a motion poured out from the family of Giovanni Sierra.
No excuse to take nobody's life.
Johnson, then 17, stabbed Sierra to death on the boy's 13th birthday at a sleepover in the Ballin Isles neighborhood in Palm Beach Gardens back in 2018. The 2 just met hours before at a pizza dinner.
Today's is what it was his birthday. Whose birthday? Giovanni. What do you mean was? I killed him.
For more than a week, the jury considered the evidence, including that police interrogation and testimony. Was Johnson legally insane when he went on his rampage, depressed and vulnerable, brainwashed by the Islamic State, not knowing right from wrong, as his lawyers argue? Or was he cold and calculating, knowing full well that what he was doing was wrong, as the prosecution asserts? The key witnesses were competing psychiatrists, one from each side. Johnson's public defender psychiatrist said he had severe depression leading up to the attack, a factor that the jury should consider. The state's testifying that while Johnson had a rare personality disorder, he was in fact sane. Ultimately, the jury sided with Richard Clossy and the state.
We knew basically what they were going to say, and then it's just a matter of whether it comes out that way in trial, and it did. And since we were prepared, I think we were able to show that, with all due respect to their doctor, he did know right from wrong.
It took the jury 4 hours to reach their verdict, as Giovanni's family waited nearly 40 years for today.
They wanted justice, and they feel like they got it, and we feel like they got it. So they're as happy as they can be, I guess.
The death penalty is off the table in this case because at the time of the stabbing, Johnson was 17 years old. But it's possible he could be sentenced to life in prison. His sentencing will happen in early January.
3. That's the number of votes separating two Democratic contenders hoping to move on to the general election.
Candidate Cherfilus-McCormick has the narrow lead over Dale Holness. They're running for the 20th congressional district seat. CBS 12's Stephanie Valderrama is in the newsroom to tell us more about the latest recount. Stephanie?
So around 2:30 this afternoon, we learned that Palm Beach County completed that machine recount. And then within the last hour, we learned that the state ordered a manual recount.
It was all hands on deck at the tabulation center in Palm Beach County Friday after the Secretary of State ordered an official machine recount in the Democratic special primary election, which encompasses part of Broward and Palm Beach County.
Under Florida statutes, if it's within 0.5%, the state will automatically order a machine recount.
Before running the machines, the county's canvassing board ran a logic and accuracy test on the machines. After that was certified, the official machine recount got underway for the seat left vacant by the late Alcee Hastings. 11 Democrats were on the ballot, vying for the primary win. Healthcare executive Cherfilus-McCormick and Broward County Commissioner Dale Holness emerged as the top contenders. CBS 12 News reached out to both campaigns multiple times Friday. Neither was available for comment, but Holness did speak to CBS 12 News this week.
Palm Beach surprised me. I thought we'd do much better than we did there. But they don't know me as well as the people in Broward.
Supervisor of Elections Wendy Sartori-Link anticipated a manual recount could be ordered because the margin was razor thin.
I think it's likely because the vote tallies are so close. But what we'll do is say once us and Broward sends it up to the state, they'll combine those totals, they'll do an analysis, and if it is still within a 1/4%, which it's likely to be, then they'll order the manual recount.